Never apologize for choosing you. You have a lot of light. You have a lot of gifts, talents. You light up a room when you walk in. Regardless of what you may or may not have, regardless of what your position may or may not be, your energy and presence is just always on its own naturally commanded attention. Often when you have people like this, you try to lay low. You're not the person that has to be the loudest in the room or try to get the attention or do the most. But even when you are really wanting to be as low key as possible, you could be a person who just draws a certain amount of attention and energy your way. And again, this doesn't always have to be romantic or things of that nature, but just that people naturally gravitate towards you. When you are that type of person, you got to understand that the people that are closest to you, and it won't be everybody, but of course, sometimes the people who block you the most are the people that are closest to you. When you meet strangers, oftentimes the funniest things is that a stranger will embrace you faster than people you know. A stranger will point out your strengths, your talents faster than somebody who's been living with you or forming a relationship with you for a long time. This gets complicated because you don't got time to play because you have a large calling. A lot of times you'll see that the people that you form the closest relationships, and again, not all of them, but maybe some of them, maybe some of you do have people around you where it's like you need to rinse and repeat. You see what I'm saying? Like some of you do have a group of people around you where it's like you need to just cancel them all out. When you don't, what ends up happening is you'll start to see subtly, and you may not realize there are certain things that you don't do, certain things that you don't wear, certain things you don't speak about, certain opportunities that you don't take, because especially if one of those people that are close to you is a significant relationship, it could have you really reduce yourself. Think about this. I mean, if this video resonates, watch the one that I have tagged above, because there's another video that I did speaking specifically about this, that one will resonate with you too. When we talk about this, there's really two things going on. People who naturally shine, people who naturally really are leaders. Not that they have to, oh, I want to take lead. Not that type of leader, just within themselves. People who are grounded, people who just have a certain energy and presence. A lot of times you'll find that those people don't really care for attention. A lot of times you'll see that those type of people don't really be on social media or even online like that. And if you find people that are like that are out and put themselves out there, it's not going to be with the same intensity that people who like that kind of attention do. Two things happening. You're the type of person who may naturally not even like or need excessive attention like that. Plus, when you have people around you that sees your light, that knows that effortlessly you get attention that people buy fake likes, views, and do all type of salacious things on social media for, and you don't, they see like, man, if this person took certain things, they might go far. They see your light. So with you not naturally being the type of person that cares to even do that, plus having somebody that is wanting to make sure that you never see the fullness of what the Most High has you trying to do, this is when you'll find yourselves in situations where you're doing things, but you're not choosing from making decisions based on your best interest solely. Maybe you're choosing and you're doing things, but then you're also considering other people, or you're putting certain opportunities or certain things aside just to keep peace, just to keep certain relationships that literally, when you step into your fullness, when you do what you've been called to do, there are going to be certain relationships that just cannot go with you. There are certain relationships that you have that it doesn't mean that the whole relationship has to be deconstructed or destroyed, but perhaps the nature of the relationship changes. Maybe you have a friend or a best friend that maybe they end up really becoming more like associates over time, people that you talk to, but it's not somebody that you give that best friend or friend status. Some of you, it could be that you've been romantically involved with a person, or some of you could be married to certain things like that. And maybe it's like, okay, you separate or you divorce, or for those of you who've been romantically involved, maybe you realize that's not your person, and maybe you're not looking at them in the way of a spouse, but you're like, possibly, I mean, you never know, we could maybe have some type of friendship or something going on. It doesn't have to be that all of these relationships are going to be completely destroyed, but a lot of them, you're going to see, if they're not, they're going to take a completely different form. And then some of you, if you stay in these relationships, when you start to lay certain boundaries and you start to move unapologetically, some of the relationships will remain, but what you'll see is it takes on a different dynamic. When you step into your power, when you lay your ground rules, you'll see the power dynamic shift. I'm going to tell a story from when I was a little kid, and I got to give my Duke shouts out for this, okay? So I'm going to tell y'all something else my mom told me when I was really young. When I say young, like I wasn't even in kindergarten yet. So one thing in my household, my mother raised leaders. She used to always say, you're going to be a leader in this house, for better or for worse. I'd rather you, if you're doing something that you have no business doing, I know that it's because you chose to do it and it was all on you and it wasn't because people influenced you. Or either way, you know, my mother always said you can have bad leaders and good leaders, which is true. We see that now. We're not going to get into the leadership in this country. But anyways, my mother, I remember I had one of my first best friends, and she would always want to go to this place. We both wanted to, but she would ask me, like, every time we came over, she'd be like, can we go here? Can we go here? So basically, it could look like, from an adult, my mom's saying it like, every time this little girl want to come ask her so she can ask me so that she can get what she wants through her. So then I remember, I never forget, and this was somebody that was like my really close best friend. My mom looked at me and she said, next time that girl asks you, if I'm going to take it, she used to take us a lot and she started to see the pattern. So she was like, next time that girl asks you something like that, tell her no. And I'm like, but that's my best friend. She's like, tell her no. You if anybody's going to lead in this relationship, it's going to be you. So tell her no and then watch and see what happens when you come back. I kid you not. I never forgot this as a kid. Okay. This was a pivotal moment of my life. I did it because I used to just always listen to certain things that my mother said. And that was one of them. I never forget I did it. From that moment, when I say the entire power dynamic of that relationship changed, of course, as a child, I didn't have words for that. But as an adult, when I look back and think back and remember that situation, and my mother does too, it's like the power dynamic shifted tremendously. And that's always funny to us. But we can talk about that now in adulthood. But that translated and followed me all throughout my life. It's all about leadership. It's all about taking control, standing what you stand on. As a kid, I remember feeling this way. I remember being like, I'm going to listen to my mom, but I'm scared. Maybe she's not going to want to be my friend again. But what ended up happening, not only was she my friend again, but she was actually a friend. Instead of it being some kind of slightly using or taking advantage of situation, when I said she had a completely different energy, it was completely different. And it clicked for me, and not only in that moment, but for the rest of my life. As you lay certain boundaries and things of that nature, you're going to see that there could be certain people where it's like the whole thing switches up. It could be like, for instance, I'm going to give one more example and I'll close out. Some of you could be with somebody that's very controlling or have certain rigid belief systems. Like, you know how you have men that it's like, they're like, oh, they're really patriarchal or whatever. Or you can have women that has a certain type of mindset. But it could be that you're dealing with somebody that they're really stubborn. They have a really rigid mindset. And this doesn't just have to do with that. It could be do with politics, all type of stuff. You're going to see that as you stand your ground and it's like, look, that person can do whatever they want to do. This is what it is. They can come along or they can go their own way. When you stand in that type of energy, you're going to see people that has had the most rigid things, the people that you thought there would be no compromise with. You're going to see that when you really stand, you're going to see a lot of people crack and fold around you that still want to come. You're going to be surprised because it's coming out very strong. Again, this is about standing your ground and letting go what needs to go so that you can rise to what you were created for to do here. We don't got forever. We only got this personality and this body and this particular purpose and vessel in this lifetime. So we don't have time to play. You're going to see that as you really do stand on what you stand on, power dynamics are going to shift like crazy around you. I mean, people who you would have never thought, some people that you may be afraid, I don't know, I'm trying to keep the peace. Never keep your peace and prevent your purpose. If keeping the peace with somebody else is interfering with your purpose or whatever you're called to do. And remember, I don't want people to take it so deep, like, well, I don't have a purpose, so maybe this isn't for me. Whatever you're being led to do, whatever you're supposed to be doing in a moment, I don't care what it is, that's your purpose. And if anybody prevents you from being you and whoever you're meant to be in the season and the day and the hour and the month, let it go. You're going to see a lot of people crack and fold, and you're going to see completely different sides of these people once you stand your ground, because you know who you are in your energy and in your territory, your divine kingdom. Let's be clear, for my fellow chosen ones, territory. Esther Awakening is coming up September 1st through the 8th. Shouts out to everybody who's already signed up. We do have Esther kits available as well. So this is a special offer only for the first time. The website that I have the Esther kits on, which is prettybossTV.com. All of my links are below. This is just one product from the actual website. This is kind of like a pre-release, I guess you could say. The event tickets for the Esther Awakening are included with the ticket. If you buy the kit before September 20th, which could be after I post this video, by the time y'all see it, you're going to get it at the end of September. If you order it before August 20th, you're going to see that you get it in time for the 1st through the 8th for the Esther Awakening. Esther Awakening is all about standing in your authority. This is a consecration. Let me speak to my women specifically. How many of you can relate to building your house with your hands and tearing them down due to your own folly, due to their own distractions, due to getting removed from the purpose? I've definitely done that in a season of my life before, probably a few seasons back in the days. That's so easy to happen, especially because the nature of many of us chose ones. And then specifically, if you look at the nature of a woman, this could be even a more repetitive pattern. So this is very important that we understand we got to stand on our Esther energy. We consecrate ourselves for a time such as this. We all have different specific purposes to do. Many of you have certain things that you've prayed for and you asked for, and God is going to bring that in your life, but it's also for a particular purpose. When we seek the kingdom and we do the things that we're supposed to do, all of those things are added to us, but the Most High is also very strategic and can kill two birds with one stone, for a lack of better words. A lot of you that have been through transformation are right at the tail end of that true transformation. This is a time to solidify yourself, to get in alignment with the track. Even what we do with our business events and things of that nature, this is something that is alongside that. Even for each of our business events, for any of you who've been to the takeover, the MMM boot camp, or even for the last one that we did was Power Week, even though we talk about business and automations and systems and all these things, there's also certain days where we talk about something in terms of alignment, the spiritual, the underlying things, the scriptural side of things. So right now we're leaning into what's that alignment, what's that Esther Awakening. This is serious right now. There's a lot going on, and I have a few videos I got to do about this. I'll do next, but I don't even know if some of y'all heard about it. I'll talk about this in another video. I don't want to make this too long, but the Esther project, and it was crazy because I was telling my friend I really was working on this Esther event. When I do my events, I'm probably working on them a month before I even announce them. So when it came to me and I was working on putting everything together for the Esther Awakening event, I told one of my best friends, like, it hit me, I'm doing this. And they were like, wait, isn't this such and such? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, how you know? Because that person just started reading the Bible. So I'm like, yeah, that is what that's about. And they told me, so you never heard of Project Esther? And when they said that, I was like, wow, I can't make this up. You got Project 2025. God put on my heart, take over 2025, period, not in opposition to that. Then you have the Esther Project. Y'all look it up for yourself. Like I said, I'll do a different video on that. But it's part of the same Project 2025 agenda, and it's already been being rolled out. So I'm like, this is interesting. Now, the Most High gave me Esther Awakening. There are all kind of events that come to me in different ways that the Most High could have put that, but it came that way. So again, this is a particular time. If you even feel what I just said from that, you already know what it is. Either you're tapped in or you're not. So let's get on that. There are certain things that we're going to be blessed with, but we got to be on that Esther type of time to where we're not moved from purpose, regardless of what. And if certain sacrifices need to be made, we should always be willing to make them in order to continue to stand on our purpose and what our missions truly are. All of my links are below. Y'all let me know how this particular video resonates. And if you have any questions about the Esther Awakening or anything, let me know. I love you all. I'll talk to y'all soon. Y'all willing? Peace.